They don't want you to sit back and relax and think, maybe, do I get this? Let's weigh up the pros and the cons. They want you to think, fuck it, let's buy it now, go. Here are 5 psychological techniques used by salesmen to sell you things. Now, you can either use these to sell other people's stuff, or you can use these to avoid people selling stuff to you. Let's jump straight in. The first technique is to limit the options available to the customer. In an experiment where grocery store customers were given the choice between 24 different types of jam or 6 different types of jam, what do you think they did? When given 24 options for which jam to choose, only 3% of customers went on to actually buy the jam. And when they were given 6 choices, so a much easier decision-making process, over 30% went on to go and buy the jam. When we make decisions, we don't like to have thousands of different options. This complicates the decision-making process, making it inefficient and time-consuming, and generally not worth the hassle. The role of the salesperson is to make the decision as obvious and clear as possible. So to do this, they limit the amount of options given to you. The second technique is called anchoring and adjustment. Imagine you walk into a car dealer's and you want a new car, but you have a budget of about £2,000. And then when you ask the salesman, he starts showing you cars that are £8,000. Really? But funnily enough, you ended up spending £4,000, double what you initially wanted to spend. The £8,000 price point represents an anchor in your subconscious decision-making process. So when you have an anchor, you base future decisions off of this anchor. Rather than your £2,000 being the baseline, your baseline is actually now £8,000. And when you're making the judgment of which car to buy, you are over-reliant on this anchor. So be careful of this sneaky trick. Comment below if this has ever happened to you. Have you ever gone somewhere expecting to spend a certain amount and then left having spent double? The third technique is to make something seem scarce and hard to get. Have you ever been shopping online and you see something that you want and then you realize it's sold out and that just makes you want it more? I know you have, because I have too. The more difficult something is to get, the more people want it. This is because our brains think if it's rare, then it must be rare for a reason, and this reason must be that it's good. This triggers the underlying fear of missing out. We feel threatened by the notion of missing out on an opportunity to get something that is rare. And people in sales will reinforce this to make you want it even more. They might say, we're running low on that item, or maybe there might be one in the back if I can get it for you, but I don't know. This is an intentional way of increasing your urgency in your decision-making process. They don't want you to sit back and relax and think, maybe, do I get this? Let's weigh up the pros and the cons. They want you to think, fuck it, let's buy it now, go. The fourth technique is to appeal to the senses. Rather than selling a product based on its face value, people are more inclined to buy it if you appeal to their senses. You wouldn't buy aftershave without smelling it first, would you? This acts almost as a try before you buy type situation, and it actually helps you visualize your life with this product in your hands. So salesmen will often encourage you to touch, to smell, to look at, to hear, whatever, maybe even taste. This encourages a much more emotionally driven decision-making process. The fifth and final technique I want to speak about is less of a technique and it's more of a general behavior. At the end of the day, people buy from people, so salesmen are often very friendly and very approachable, and they have to be. They ask open-ended questions and they pretend to be your friend to find out information. And once they get that information, then they can use that to create a need for the product that they are selling you. It's very important to actively listen to the customer and what they might want. But you've got to be careful of salesmen because honestly, most of it is bullshit. Today, I hope you learned something about the psychology of sales, either to increase your sales or to avoid people selling stuff to you. Hopefully the latter. But thank you very much for watching if you've watched this far. Do subscribe if you have enjoyed. There'll be plenty more where this came from. See you later.
Thank you.